Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I can do an update to a pretty popular video I did last week, which was titled, She Thought an Open Relationship Was a Sure Thing Until Learning Her Boyfriend's Dad Coached Him Old School. And guys, that story definitely you guys really liked. You guys really liked the father in that story. He is early 50s, married, 4 kids, and as the title said, and as you all recall, an old school type of fella. Military, old traditional views and all that. And that video was really great about how he described how his oldest son off to start his first job and had a girlfriend, and the girlfriend did what a lot do nowadays, brought up the idea of the open relationship. And thanks to his father's coaching, he put that girlfriend in her place, and that's the end of that. And of course, you all recall she was throwing a temper tantrum and all that. And then the father went into a little backstory of why he doesn't buy into these open relationship types of things or friends with benefits. And it was a really good one to hear. I really enjoyed that, and I really made the case, and it was an example of why all guys, particularly young men, need that masculine male role model that has the old school views, who's been around the block to teach them things, because a lot of young guys simply don't have that, and it's a shame, and it is very much needed in today's society. And then he a few days later, sent in his backstory. It was a prequel. It's the first prequel here on the Strong Successful Male channel, and you guys really enjoyed hearing about his history. Now today, he's writing an update to some things, both about his oldest son and what's going on with him and that girlfriend of his, responding to some questions that he had, family, that type of thing. So those of you that followed both the stories will enjoy this quick update here. But before I do, real quick, I wanted to read an email that a guy sent me, a very brief email thanking me for the channel, how the channel and the videos helped him from making the same mistake twice or slipping into that BS, the narrative out there that get him back into trouble again, the old nice guy blue pill narrative. So real quick, this guy says, hello SSM. First off, I want to thank you for doing what you do to help men everywhere. I watch all your channels, and since I saw the first one around 2 months ago, I've been gaining knowledge in RP. I was married a long time ago, and we ended up getting divorced. Yes, there was cheating and an open relationship. This is why I do this, guys. Open relationship. I never heard of such a thing when I was much younger. Nowadays, it just pops up everywhere. It's ridiculous. That was the story behind the main story here. I just didn't know that I was in one. I was blue pill and just ignored the signs. It took a long time to get over that, but I did. I stopped looking for a relationship and just worked on me. There you go. Working on himself. I'm a relationship guy, and lately I've been thinking of trying again. Until the video last night of the guy who caught his girlfriend cheating when she went back to her high school reunion. I won't lie, that really hit hard, but I want to say thank you. I need to hear that story. I know the dating world is just too crazy to even attempt anything when a woman can do that and act like there's nothing wrong. So, thanks again, and keep them videos coming. Signed, a grateful fan. Well, bro, you're welcome. I'm glad I helped you out. I'm glad if it takes watching one of my shows once a day or somebody else like me to help you, keep you on track, keep you in a realistic mindset, keep your emotions in check, then definitely do it. It will help you. And spread the word to other guys like you, because there are plenty of them out there around the world. But I will say this. It is true. More and more guys are waking up to reality, and it has the women scared shitless. Not to mention the bridal industry and all that. They're really hurting. Now, on to the update from our badass dad here. He says, greetings SSM. It's been an entertaining few days with the family. The boys have read a lot of the comments in the videos. We thought to give you and the others an update and answer some of the comments. He says here, Brittany was the name I gave my bad experience. However, my middle son has been laughing hard and declared that both of my mistakes and his older brother's exes are all Brittany's. If guys can be Chad and Tyrone's, it's only fair and equal for girls to have a monkey or two. Okay, it's official. The female version of Chad and Tyrone is Brittany. Now we need another girl name to add to the list, so you guys can decide in the comment section we got Chad and Tyrone for the guys, and we got Brittany. We need another girl name. You guys can figure out in the comment section who that girl name should be, and that will become official. It'll be Brittany and whatever that chick's name. Okay. My youngest son is mostly a junior to me, and he shares a lot of my values, hence his entry into service as a medic. His goal is to earn his bars and have me render his first salute. My oldest is very mechanical and logical driven. He has no interest in service, and I think he has some animosity towards me, as I was mostly gone on deployment after he learned to say dad. Well, you were in the military. That's how it was. Get over it, son. My middle boy has recently turned 21 and is definitely one to want to burn it all down. He hunts and fishes on the res and is my problem child. There's always one, huh? One in every family. Of the family, he is the original subscriber to SSM. His grandpa and uncles have been keeping a watch on him, and he may go to a trade school or military in a bit. I'm not forcing him, as he has to want more than living traditional ways first. Well, I was the problem child. Not just like, because it was my mom, it was my sister and I, but also I had cousins, and everything like that. But I was considered to be the problem child of the big extended family, and I turned out okay. So your son will as well. Your son has to find what he wants in this world. Okay, that's probably part of it. He's just frustrated, and he needs direction, and I know you'll give that to him, as well as the family. But once he finds his thing, trust me, he'll be fine. But he may do some boneheaded things because he's young, as I did boneheaded things when I was young. The schooling for my other son was determined by them through research into schools that would best set them on a career for their chosen professions. My oldest found the engineering school he went by talking to working engineers and using LinkedIn to expand his work circle and find mentors in his field. I highly recommend getting into contact with peers in your chosen field. It was through these contacts that he got his job on the East Coast. My youngest talked to recruiters and medics and is going to medical school and funding it through hacks he discovered from them. Man, good for all your kids. And yes, I certainly advise talking to people that are in a field that you might have interest in. And those guys can really open some doors for you and help you. Help people that are young and looking where they want to go in this world. My kids are all pretty good at using the internet for educational resources and research into occupations and education. My daughter's experiences with the Chad and Tyrones are more from high school and almost falling victim to a classmate collecting racy pictures from the girls. He is now a registered offender right now. She does listen to her mother and I and works both with her and her mom at an assisted living facility. She ends relationships fast when she catches a whiff of shady behavior. Multiple girl contacts, handsy, intimate touching, rushing, CrossFit, sports guys, all that get dropped fast. I'm more concerned as both my dad and father-in-law have said the daughters look for men that remind them of their dad. Her current beau replaced the brakes on her truck, takes her fishing and hunting, and hasn't displayed any red flags yet. So it sounds like you. That's usually what happens. My sister married a guy just like my dad, and I've seen this happen a lot where girls marry guys like their dad, for better or worse. Guys marry gals like their moms, for better or for worse. Yeah, he also hasn't said much to me except nervous laughter. He did sit next to me by the fire pit on Father's Day while my daughter and I talked, so we will see. My daughter and the middle boy are my Irish twins, and they do not trust very easily. Now he says, on to the update. He says, my son, this is the son from the original story who kicked the girlfriend to the curb when she won the open relationship. My son did not block his ex until after a few days home. He did admit he said, I love you more about a year ago and after they were exclusive. Smack! She should have been the one to say it first, and even then he should have, handled it a lot better. By him giving her the I love yous too quickly, and when she didn't really deserve it, that gave her certainty, which eventually led down the path of her pulling this let's do it open relationship thing, realizing she had him by the balls, or had his heart in her grasp. It's unfortunate, guys, but it is what it is. I told him that there's a huge difference between lust and love. His mother didn't hear I love you from me until 1998 and marked the day that, as she knew I meant it. This guy in his prequel story said that he was dating the lady became his wife for 8 years before they got married. 8 years. And they have a great marriage. Imagine that. He got to really know her and take his time, etc., etc. They were making a lot more plans for the future and Marilyn than I was aware of. They were making tentative plans for marriage in a couple of years. Smack! Get married after just knowing each other that brief period of time. Are you out of your freaking mind? That also is the reason she brought up the open relationship thing, because he was already talking about marriage with her and he barely knew her. Right? In a couple of years, no, that is not enough time. to know somebody, then start talking about that bullshit. And they were both in college. That gave her the certainty. I got this guy. He ain't going anywhere. They're making tentative plans for marriage in a couple of years. Mary, that's the nickname to this guy's wife, cuffed his head for that bit too soon. He let Mary and I read her text messages after he broke up with her. My favorites are, and these are the quotes from his son's now ex, "I meant a temporary break, not an open relationship. Is there really a difference?" He says, "I may be old, but break means breaking up unless the rules have changed." And she also said, "We are soulmates and destined to be together." And he says, "What the fuck Hallmark movie is that?" She's just telling him whatever he wanted to hear. She was so shocked that he actually broke up with her over this whole thing, because she thought, hey, he's telling me I love you. He's telling me that we want to get married only after knowing me a couple of years. And so she's figuring he's this nice guy that will go along with this open relationship crap. And now she's shocked that he showed that he actually has a pair and put her in her place. He says, "I was busy laughing at that, but as Mary said, if she really loved you, she would have hurt you that way." Mary referred to his Brittany as being a greedy, spoiled little girl. Right, if your girl really loves you, she's not going to hurt her guy, and certainly not want to put him up there that another girl could swoop in and take him. Except this girl she felt certainty with him, and I told you what happens when women have absolute certainty with their guy, and then wanted to go play. Maybe she might find somebody better. And if not, well, she's got this guy in layaway. That's the mentality. My wife and I also pointed out that he was too hasty with his ex. 2 years is not enough time to know someone, and 4 years to marriage. Thank you. Exactly. I say it all the goddamn time. And your son's what, 22, 23? At best, maybe 24. I don't know. Too young. Way too young. Yes, back in the day of our grandparents, and for some of us, our parents, that was a little different, but the level of maturity of the folks, of the guys and gals getting out of college nowadays in their mid-20s is not close to what it was decades ago. Not even close. And you all know that. Are there exceptions? Of course, and there's a lot of exceptions of guys watching this channel, but I think you know what I mean by the masses. There was no ring, but he said they were kind of engaged. It's not often that I see my wife this angry. Well, I'm glad to hear your wife is angry about this, because it was ridiculous. She wasn't like, "Oh, I wanted to be mother of the groom," or "I want grandkids." No, I'm glad your wife is sensible. My son has blocked her on everything now, and my wild child is going to head east with his brother for a few weeks. He was more agreeable after one of his classmates confirmed his ex was already planning to meet up with an ex-high school boyfriend. I've been telling him all weekend, and my wife confirmed. If she really loved and cared for you, she would be moving with you and shouldering the burden with you. She would not listen, she would not let you out of her sight, and definitely wouldn't share or risk losing you. Right. Exactly. If she truly loved your son, she would be with him and not doing this open relationship crap and risk losing him, and she'd be there to support him on his new move and all that. But sadly, this is how so many gals are like nowadays. And again, this is why so many young guys are done with relationships. Not just marriage, but just relationships in general. He is still heartbroken, but that will take a little time. He has a job to start, and his brother will help him get settled in and find some fishing, hiking, and biking spots. They are young men and have many paths open to them. Worry about girls later. Yes, this is the time that your boys need to be establishing themselves in this world. Your son's about to start his first job working for a company that works for I believe you said the Department of Defense or something like that. He needs to be busting his ass, establishing himself. And not to mention, on his own, aside from busting his ass on his job, if he wants to move up in his company, move up in the world, he has to do his job and essentially do other jobs to then show how valuable he is and get promotions and all that. And then meanwhile, in his personal life, live beneath his means, save money, invest that money in areas he feels comfortable with, begin the wealth building process young, so that he doesn't have to be working for the man, as they say, the rest of his life. You know, the earlier you start putting money away and investing it, letting it grow, the quicker you guys can retire if you want to, as long as it's in a sensible fashion, and have money there to enjoy the things in life, travel, do what you want to do, buy the things you want to buy, have comfort. The younger you start, the better. And yes, down the road, if you want to meet a girl that because he's obviously a relationship guy, he can do that. But establish himself first. There's no fucking rush. And by the time your son gets to his 30s and he's successful and doing well, believe me, these gals are dying to get married and be chasing after him, and he'll have his pick, his choice, and he can take his time. Time is on his side. Time is on all guys' side. Not a big update. His Brittany has been out at my house twice, and we are deep in the countryside. She has been blocked, so I can only guess that she is still upset. I guarantee you she is losing her freaking mind, because the biggest thing is that her ego's been blown, and she's looked like a fool in front of all her friends. And as you said, she comes from a family with some money, so she's spoiled. Or maybe that was your ex from back in the day. I can't remember which, but they're all spoiled nowadays. So she's obviously throwing a tantrum because her ego's been shattered. She's been blocked, so only one can guess that she's still upset. A temporary break? Ha. My son only visited her hometown once. He said her parents are divorced. My wife and I have never ever met his ex's folks, and I have no plans to do so. We did stress to him that the fact that he didn't really know her parents and family, and we never met them, that's a huge red flag and a good time to really pump the brakes for marriage talk. You're damn right. If he's going to play the what if with a future girlfriend, I think a prenup is a very good topic to protect what is his. You're damn right. He is going to be very busy getting his work routine established. I already told him he's getting thumped if he starts dating female coworkers. Yeah, never date a female coworker, guys. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Your job, your career, your job is for bringing home a paycheck or building your career. It is not for fucking dating. There was a time and place people date their coworkers. No big deal. No, not anymore. There's just too much bullshit that can happen in the workplace. If a girl in your office, you're attracted to her and you like her and you get along great, if she leaves the company or you leave the company, that's a different ballgame. But someone you're in the same office with, there's too much bullshit that can happen. You guys have heard the stories. If more develops, I told him to drop you a line. I hate to see the wind sucked out of his sails, but things could have been worse for him. Here's to drama-free summer. So, thank you for the update, sir. I know it wasn't a huge one, but I'd like to hear what's going on. The audience definitely liked your story, and I'm glad he answered some questions and all that. And your son is going to be fine. As long as he pulls his head out of his romantic ass, he'll be okay, you know? But you know what? Young guys make mistakes. That's how you learn, and I'm sure your son's going to learn this. And your son also knows that if he does any boneheaded moves like date a female coworker or jumps into another relationship with both feet, that you're going to slap him upside the head and tell him what he needs to hear. That's what a good dad will do. So you've been a good dad to him. And I wish you the best with your other children. And keep the updates and stories coming if there's new ones down the road. I'm sure the audience likes to hear about this. And again, guys, we're going to find out the female names that chat entire room. We got Brittany. You guys can pick in the comment section a girl name. And whatever's the best girl name from all the ones you put there, I'll put them together. It'll be Brittany and Jessica, Brittany and Ashley, whatever the hell it is. You guys pick the name, and that will be it. Brittany and somebody else. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Again, don't forget that girl name. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.